If a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around to hear it fall, does it make a sound? If a man is wrong and no woman is around to yell at him and tell him he's wrong, is he still wrong? If you get a good lift in and you hit a PR, but you did not film it and post it on Instagram or YouTube, did you really lift? And did you actually hit that PR? These are the deep things I ponder when I have no caffeine in my brain because Dan Mackler's making me wait till 4:30 p.m. to train with him. And I've been going all day without caffeine and it's driving me insane. But it's about to be go time. So you heard that correctly. I'm going to meet up with Dan Mackler, good old long lost Dan. For those of you that don't remember him, he was my training partner all throughout my last meet prep when I was prepping for my first powerlifting meet ever back in November. He was the one who was with me in the gym 24/7, manning the camera, spotted me, and getting good lifts in along with me. He's a lightweight, actually, just like Ricky. Everybody I train with is always my height and incredibly light, and they always look lighter than they are. Dan is another Ricky where he's only like 150-ish pounds, and he looks closer to my weight. Anyway, he's a great friend of mine. We haven't gotten a chance to catch up in ages, so I'm gonna make the trek up to Warwick, which is where I used to live. It's about a 30-minute drive from here, and we're gonna catch up just for old time's sake. We're gonna get a training session in, so I'm excited to see good old Dan Mackler again. Ooh, Dan Mackler, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody remembers him. You're looking thicker these days. What are you weighing?
A lot, dude. I don't even know. I don't want to know.
Hit a bicep shot real quick. He's looking big in person, man. So, him and I reunited again.
Oh yeah.
It's love at like 18th sight. It's beautiful. I need to take that caffeine I was telling you guys about earlier. I'm about to take that now. But we're gonna do some benching. You cool to jump into my program?
Sure, dude. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. It's just like the old days when we were young and in love. Well, today is Sunday, March 21st. We are coming to the end of week 5, the second to last week of this training cycle, and we are about 9 weeks out from my next powerlifting meet, weighing in still in the mid to low 180s, somewhere in that range. Doing some pause benching today, working a little bit heavier with about 90% of my pause bench max. So we're working with about 305 pounds for 10 sets of 2 paused reps, just as I would in a competition pause. So when I do this, I like to warm up with tap and go reps, as you can see, throwing a little pause at the very end of them. And in my opinion, using the fast tap and go reps really helps to kind of warm your muscles up, get everything firing, literally warm your body up and get your temperature up because you're moving so much faster, and it just kind of gets the cobwebs out, gets rid of the stiffness. I do this all the way up until about 275 pounds, meaning 225 is the last weight I do tap and go reps with, and then I do one last acclimation set with 275 pounds, and I'll usually do that for a quick double, so I save energy, but I acclimate myself into the heavier weight, and that is when I'm good to go. Dan Mackler is lighter weight than me, obviously. He's bulking, so I think he's just breaking into the 170s now, and he doesn't train primarily for strength. He does physique and strength, so he's doing a little bit of a mix here. 275 moved nice and fast, so I knew I was warmed up and good to begin my sets with 305. 10 sets of 2 reps paused. The biggest thing I want when training like this is I basically want to be ready for any length of pause. So Dan tried a couple of different pause durations out and was asking me like which one I like better. And I told him it really didn't matter. Obviously, you know, your speed may slow down fractionally. It's just kind of physics, the longer you pause. But I basically want to be ready for the worst case scenario. So if the ref at my meet decides to give me a 3 Mississippi pause, I'm still going to lock the weight out. So that's what I get ready for. I like a longer pause to challenge me. Be ready for the worst, you know, and get strong in it. And a big key to that, 2 big keys to a good pause bench. One is mental. I mean, obviously all working out is mental, but I'm telling you, it's insane how mental the pause bench is. Most of the time, when you get held back, stuffed, or stuck on a pause bench, a lot of times it's in your head. Because it's scary lowering the bar down, it's scary feeling it stop and pause when you're not used to it, and most of the time we get in our own heads. And I've seen it countless times. The second somebody breaks past that fear and they get confident in it, the pauses move easy. And they can pretty much do almost their regular tap and go max with a pause. So get the mental barrier over your head. Don't be afraid of the pause. And the other big thing is really, really make sure your shoulders are super retracted. Everybody knows to retract your shoulders. It's common knowledge in the bench press. But it's really common for lifters, including myself, to think we're retracting them, feel them being retracted, but still give a little bit of wiggle room that shouldn't be there. So you want to dig them deep into the bench, really even strain your back to squeeze them behind you so there's no movement in your shoulders. There should be no protraction going on in your shoulders. It should be as if you don't even have shoulders. All your arm is consisting of is just an upper arm and a forearm. As if there's a big bolt going into your upper arm and that's the only hinge you have. And you'll feel the difference. You'll feel the strain in your back more, but you'll feel a faster lockout. The range of motion will feel shorter. You'll feel the drive right through your triceps and just a quicker ride to the top that way. So those are the two keys to a good pause bench, and then from there, just work on that speed. Set number 8, getting near the end finally, 2 more to go after this one. Another big key to pause benching successfully is it's very natural to want to control your negative slow on the way down, especially when you're trying to build muscle and build the chest up. But when it comes to strength, it's a little bit backwards. Eric Spoda himself actually told me as a tip to kind of speed up the negative. Don't let it completely drop on you because obviously you're going to destroy your body, but let it down pretty fast. And what you're doing is you're not wasting energy trying to resist the negative of the motion. So you let it come down real fast, still controlled enough to where you're not smashing your sternum obviously, but let it come down pretty fast, and that's going to preserve a lot of your energy, stay tight at the bottom, and give all that energy to the explosion on the way back up. Also with breathing, you want to hold your breath pretty much throughout the entire rep. You want to breathe into your gut before you even lower the bar down. So a lot of people when they bench, they'll go breathe as they lower the bar down without even realizing it. Film yourself and see what you do. So breathe in, get all that air in, then lower it down once you breathe all the way in. Hold it at the bottom, then explode up. And then when you let it go as personal preference, some lifters do hold it all the way to the very top. I kind of start letting it go about halfway up, and that's just what works for me. So you gotta find what works for you, obviously. And as long as you're getting a good breath in between reps, you're not holding it for more than 1 rep at a time, this is pretty safe and it's very, very optimal for power. So set number 8 here, going for another double paused. Check out my negative and check out my breathing pattern. 2,
Start. Press. Start. Press. Racket.
Woo.
Good job, dude.
Thank you. One more thing about pause benching you're gonna find is you're constantly looking for that sweet spot where the bar lands. And that's gonna make or break your pause bench especially. So for me, what you'll see is throughout these 10 sets, you might see 1 rep might be a little slow, and the rep right after it might be even faster. Or vice versa, 1 set might be really fast, the next set might be real slow, 1 rep might be really fast, the one right after might be a little bit slower. And usually it's because the bar is landing in a slightly different position on my chest. Now obviously you want to lock down consistency. Once you find where your positioning is that allows your elbows to be underneath the bar optimally and allows you to engage all the muscles you need to press the weight fast and hard optimally, that's where you want to try to keep it every single time and repeat that pattern and that habit. But of course it's going to take a little bit of searching and playing around. So what you'll see with these sets is even now I'm still trying to get this thing down. I'm always learning, of course. I'll put the bar maybe like right here. 1 rep. The next rep, it might be not even a centimeter higher, but that centimeter higher might make it go a little bit faster because my elbow's now just a little bit more underneath it. Or that centimeter higher might make it go a little bit slower now because of my elbow positioning. Or there's a million different factors that go into it. So you gotta find your sweet spot. And that's why you'll see like my 10th set might be faster than any of my 9 sets before it, simply because I find a sweeter spot to land on. So I think I'm getting it down for myself, but where mine is isn't really important. You gotta find it for yourself. I just realized I think this was my opener at my meet, or somewhere right around that. 305, 306, I think that's what my opener was at the meet, so. Set number 10, last set, see if we can make it as fast as the first one. Woo!
Press. Start. Press. Racket.
Woo!
Yeah, man.
Felt good.
Well, the first time Nick and I worked out together, we were doing pause reps. He was doing triples with 275, and I was doing 225, and I couldn't even pause them. I was mostly doing tap and go.
Yeah, in my 275s, I think we're moving slower than this is today.
Oh yeah. We've definitely made some gains, dude.
Hell yeah, progress.